Rick Rubin ends the first chapter of his new book, The Creative Act, by saying, "You exist as a creative being in a creative universe, a singular work of art." It was upon reading this that I almost bailed. You see, I'm not a spiritual person. I've never felt the need to connect with the universe or be at one with nature or any of that stuff. But I like to use the rule set forth by Ryan Holiday for reading. He says that to give a book an ample chance, you should read 100 pages minus your age. So I pushed onward, and I'm glad that I did. I ended up really enjoying this, and there were a lot of creative lessons to be taken from this book. I think that any creative person, really any person, can take some lessons from this book. It's about embracing imperfections and going through life in a way that allows you to create and be creative, breaking the norms. Don't get me wrong, there are still parts that are like eating granola while doing yoga in the woods, but for the most part, there's some good lessons here. And honestly, that's the great thing about books, and really life in general. You can take what you love and leave the rest. So here are 6 lessons about creativity that I am taking from Rick Rubin's book. Number 1, embrace imperfection. Oftentimes, I find myself refining my work, taking out every imperfection, every smudge, every misplaced line, just trying to make the work better. But in the end, I usually end up taking out any kind of human quality at all, and it ends up looking stale and dead. So Rick Rubin says you should embrace these inconsistencies and smudges, and it's in these spaces that the art can breathe. If you show that your art was made by a human and it has a human touch, it will connect more, people will care more, it will make the art better. The goal of art isn't to attain perfection, the goal is to show who we are, how we see the world. 2, lower the stakes. It's so easy to let the scale of your imagination get in the way of executing something practical. We want to make the next life-changing piece of art. We don't just want another piece in our portfolio. But Rick Rubin suggests that you do think of it as just a small piece of work in a bigger portfolio. And you have to just concentrate on finishing that piece so you can move on to the next one. You don't want to think about this piece of art as the most important piece of art you'll ever make, the defining moment in your entire life. That will lead to perfectionism, which will lead to staleness, which will probably take the human quality out of your art. Probably this practical version of your project is actually better than the grand version that you have in your head. So lower the stakes on any single piece of art and know that if you keep creating piece after piece, eventually you will have a body of work, and no one piece will define you, but the whole body of work will show who you are as a human. Number 3, break the rules and change it up. If you're an artist or a creative person, consistency can make your work become stale. This is weird advice to me because if you're a commercial artist, you do want to have a style. Art directors and editors are not going to hire you if you don't have a consistent style. They're not going to hire Jackson Pollock for a realistic piece of artwork. You get hired for the thing you show you can do again and again and again. But that's the commercial world. And for the pure act of creation, of being a creative person, I do agree with Rick Rubin that this kind of consistency can make your work stale, and you should change it up. You should try different materials, or adding different constraints, or mixing things that don't seem to go together. There are a lot of norms in the industries that we are in: the length of a song, the length of a movie, genre, canvas size, canvas shape. All of these things add constraints to your work before you've even begun. The best creative people are the ones who break these rules, the ones who learn them so well that they are able to break them, or the ones who never learn the rules at all. To change it up, you have to change your inputs. So listen to a song on repeat, or watch a movie without the sound. Read only the first sentence of paragraphs. Take things that are inspiring to you and try to see them in a new light. And then you can make connections you might not otherwise have seen, and you can create a new, fresh work from it. After all, the world is not waiting for more of the same. Number 4, finish things, share them, move on. The final hurdle of your project is to finish it and share it. This sounds so simple, but it's actually probably one of the most difficult steps because it turns your work into a permanent state from a malleable one. Once you release it into the world, it's kind of over. It's kind of out of your hands. The only art the world gets to enjoy is from creators who have overcome these hurdles and released the work. This goes hand in hand with setting smaller goals, because if you believe that this piece of work is your defining moment, your crowned jewel, it's much harder to let it go. So Rick Rubin says to remember that any single piece of work cannot be a true reflection of you, just a reflection of you in a moment. And in that same vein, if you hold on too long, it can also be detrimental to the work. It's kind of like writing the same diary entry for a really long time. Life moves on and other things happen, and you're actually doing a disservice to those stories by being stuck on this entry way back here. So don't hold back your work for a better occasion or a time when you have more skill. Just do it, finish it, release it, and be done. Know that the material flows through you when you share ideas. They are replenished. That sounds really kind of spiritual, but I kind of like this idea that you're not going to run out of ideas. I do think it's easy to get stuck in this idea that everything is precious. Every thought that we have is precious. Every idea, every piece of art is precious. And it's really helpful to remember that more ideas will come to you. If you execute an idea, you will have another one. The amount of ideas you have is not finite. Number 5. Build sustainable rituals. Inspiration is unreliable. Your artistic life cannot be set solely around waiting for inspiration to strike. It's out of our control, and you just have to set up sustainable rituals that will allow you to create. And create an easily attainable schedule to start. It could just be 30 minutes a day. You sit down and you write, or you draw, or whatever your creative act that you're trying to do is. You can extend it later after the habit has been established. If you start too big, you'll never do it. Discipline is not a lack of freedom. Discipline is a harmonious relationship with time. So you want to create a discipline that gives you room for creative work. And this could also seep into your daily life. If you're able to schedule your daily life, sometimes that can leave you more bandwidth for when you get to the creative room. For example, Einstein wore the same gray suit every day. Some people eat the same food for every meal. Eliminating these kinds of decisions from your daily life allows you to turn the brain power you would have used to make those decisions into brain power you can then push towards your creative act. So scheduling stuff in your daily life can actually bleed over into your creative life in a really positive way. Number 6, practice. Practice. You have to practice. The only practice that counts is the one that you consistently do. And practice is weird in that it seems like you're not getting better and nothing is happening, and then something magical happens and you wake up and all of a sudden you're a little bit better, a little more skilled than you were the day before. It's similar to weightlifting. Weightlifting, you break down your muscles and you have to have a recovery phase, and then when you come back, you've built them up stronger than they were before. So take a recovery period after you've done hard work, knowing that when you come back, you will be changed in some positive way. Show up, build things, break them, experiment. You're a scientist. Every experiment that you do gets you closer to the goal of finding your creative spirit. I don't like that. Every experiment that you do is another data point getting you closer on your path to the creative act. No. Every experiment that you hold, everything that you create is another data point, and every data point you have brings you closer to a solution. Each time you practice, it has value if you learn something, whether or not you succeed or fail. Even if it feels pointless and you don't know its worth, you're at least moving closer towards mastery of your skill. In the same way Picasso said, inspiration finds you, but it must find you working. Rick Rubin says, making great art may not always require great effort, but without it, you'll never know. I think you should go make some art now. Quick art, long art, messy art, any kind of art. There's a place for all of it in the world. You never know its value until you release it. Find a way to show up for your art every day. Make something, big or small. I mean, just do something.